Welcome everyone. Today we will see how to install ESXi Type-1 Hypervisor. Guys, ESXi only install on bare metal. Bare metal means a physical server which has a hardware component, and that server may be of Dell, HP or any other company, right? So guys, we don't have any HP or Dell server. The motto of this video is to show you the process and the step to install ESXi servers, right? Whatever you are doing here, the same thing you will install on the HP or Dell server in your office. So guys, I will show you the process on VMware workstation to install the ESXi server. So guys, let's start install and configure ESXi host on VMware workstation. So open your VMware workstation and click on a new virtual machine, click next and select I will install the operating system later, click next. You will see this guest operating system page. You will select your operating system VMware ESX and select the latest version which is available. So we have this ESXi 5, the latest one which you have, you can select, right? Click next and change the machine name ESXi 6.7.0. So I will change this by default location. You just click on browse and select where you want to install. So I will install in D drive and click on a folder where you want to install. So I have created 6.7 folder over here. So I will just click and click OK, right? Now click next. You can see the size over here, which is 40 GB selected by default. So you can increase the size if you want, whatever you want you can increase. Okay, and then click next. Now you have to customize your hardware. You can select RAM 4 GB, that is okay, and number of core I want to increase from 2 to 4. Yeah, you can see it's total 4 core selected. Now select the ISO image which you have downloaded from internet. So just click browse and select where you have downloaded this VMware image file. Just select and click open. Now this image is selected. Go in network adapter option. You can select any of the network connection option. I will select bridge. You may select any one of them, right? And here you can see you have USB and display option. If you want to keep it, you may keep or remove from here, right? So let's keep for now. Click close and click finish. Now you can see you have this ESXi 6.7 virtual machine. So this is your host, right? Click on power on. Once you click on the power on, it will search the bootable drive and load the installer. So it will load automatically the installer in 8 seconds if you did not press any key, right? So I did not press any key. It is loading the ESXi installer. Now you can see it will search all the file like tools and packages which is available for the storage and everything, right? So let's install. Okay, so it is installing. Great. Let it install till we see the difference between hypervisor type 1 and type 2. Now you can see this is type 2 hypervisor. So type 2 hypervisor runs on an operating system similar to your computer program. So same as we have installed all our virtual machine on our laptop with the help of this VMware workstation. So this is type 2 hypervisor, and in type 1 hypervisor your type 1 hypervisor runs directly on the host hardware. So this is the hardware which you can see. This hardware may be of Dell, HP or any other company over which we have installed this hypervisor, right? This hypervisor may be ESXi, KVM, Hyper-V or Zen hypervisor. So guys, before explaining type 1 and type 2 hypervisor in brief, we will see the progress of our installation. So go back to your ESXi. Now you can see says welcome to the ESXi 6.7.0 installer. Press enter to continue. So just press enter and you have to accept that license. So press F11. Once you press, it is scan for available disk. This may take a few seconds. Okay, so it will search for your hard drive where you want to install this setup, right? In your Dell or HP server, you can customize your storage. You can create RAD1 or RAD5 partition over where we can install the ESXi. So for now, we will click enter to install. Just select a language. It's US. Now enter your password. Root @ 123. The same password I want to enter here, and enter again. Okay. So it is matched. Click enter. So it is scanning the system, gather all the information, and ask you to press F11 to install this installer, right? So press F11 to install. So guys, it will install this ESXi 6.7. So till it install, we will see the difference between Type 1 and Type 2 hypervisor. Now in Type 2 hypervisor, you can see there is a hardware which has CPU, RAM, hard disk, and NIC, over which we have installed a Windows operating system, same as our laptop. And I hope you have remember, over this laptop we have used this hypervisor VMware workstation. You may also install a virtual box, right? So on that top of this hypervisor, we have installed a virtual machine where we have used RHEL and CentOS 7 or any flavor you can use. So on the top of this RHEL, you can install any of the application, either DSCP, SSH, FTP, any application you can install using yum or RPM package, and the combination of this RHEL and application will be your virtual machine, right? In the same way, you can install CentOS and any of the application like Apache, and this will become your virtual machine too, right? And this hypervisor will help you to provide the resource like CPU, RAM, hard disk, and network interface card. In the same way, in Type 1 hypervisor, we don't have any operating system, right? So on the top of this hardware, which also has CPU, RAM, hard disk, and NIC card, we have installed a hypervisor, and this is Type 1 hypervisor because it directly installed on the hardware. So it could be ESXi, KVM, Hyper-V, and Gen hypervisor. So ESXi is from your VMware virtualization, and KVM you can install on OpenStack or any small cloud platform. Hyper-V is a Microsoft hypervisor, and Gen is the Oracle hypervisor. So the same way on this hypervisor we have installed, suppose RHEL or CentOS, right? On the top of this RHEL you can install any application, either DSCP, DNS, FTP, SSH, or Apache, and the combination of this application and this RHEL 7 or 6 whatever is combined, you can say a virtual machine. In the same way, you can say you can create multiple virtual machine on the top of this hypervisor, right? So you can see the second virtual machine where we have taken this CentOS binary and library files, over which you can deploy any application like FTP, SSH, anything, and the combination of these two, CentOS and this application, is called a virtual machine. And this virtual machine get the resource from this hypervisor. So if you want a 16 core of CPU, you can take directly from the CPU. If you want 32 GB of RAM from your server, you can get from this hardware, and your hypervisor will help you to provide all the resources. If you need some hard disk like 1 TB or 2 TB, whatever available in the hard disk, and you want to use from your hardware, you can provide to your hard disk as well in the virtual machine. And if you want to use a network card, this will help you to provide a network card as well if you have 2 NIC. The hypervisor will help you to provide the network interface card so that you can use your networking and you can talk to outside world. This NIC may have like 1 gig NIC, 20 gig NIC or 30 gig NIC, and this NIC as also having some port, you can say 2 port or 4 port NIC. And once this NIC will use, it will create a virtual NIC through which your virtual machine will get the networking, and you can install or you can configure the IP address, right? So this is the main difference between type 1 and type 2 hypervisor. I have explained both the hypervisor. So guys, the main difference you just remember, the hardware which has operating system over which you want to install hypervisor, that will become type 2 hypervisor, and in case of type 1 hypervisor, on the top of hardware you just install a hypervisor and then you can install a virtual machine. So there is no any operating system between your hardware and hypervisor, right? So this is the main difference between type 1 and type 2. Let's go back and see your installation. So your system is ready. Now enter to reboot. So friends, we have installed VMware ESXi 6.7 successfully. Now we will configure the IP address. So you can see the IP address is taken directly from DHCP server. So press F2 to configure the IP address and all configuration related thing, right? Write the password. You will see a page where you can change your root password. From here you can configure your management network. So it has a lot of network related options. Just click. Now you can see the network adapter option. We have only one virtual NIC which is available with this laptop. If you work in your company, you may get more than one network interface card available in your server. So it may be of 10 gig or 25 gig NIC. So you will get all the port information of your NIC, is whether it is connected or is not connected to any uplink device. Maybe it's L2 or L3 device, right? So whatever the port is available, you can see, and you can check that connected port to maintain the network redundancy, right? So click OK, and if you want you can also set VLAN, right? I don't have any VLAN, so I will just leave as it is, and from here we will configure the IP address, right? Here you can see the dynamic IP address is taken directly from DHCP server. So we will set our own IP address from the same range, right? So just click on set static IP address. So just click space bar and change the IP address. Now change from here. So the 43 will be same, right? You can change any IP address. I'm taking this 43.50. You can change whatever you want. And this is the subnet mask, which is of class C. So that will be same, and gateway will be 192.168.43.1, right? Now click enter. If you want to change IPv6, you can change from here. We don't have any IP address, right? So I will just go back, and if you want to change DNS IP address, you can also change from here. So you can see it is taken the gateway as a DNS IP address 192.168.43.1, which is correct, right? So just go back, click escape, and once you type escape, now click Y to apply change and restart the management, right? So click Y, so it will save all the configuration. So you can see now IP address has changed 192.168.43.50, and now you can restart the management network. Just go and restart and type enter. It will ask you to type again F11 to restart and press enter. Now it will restart the service, and you can also test the management network. It will ping the gateway, right? So your IPv4 and IPv6 gateway will ping from here. If it shows okay, that means your server is connected successfully. If any one of the parameters was failed, you have to check and troubleshoot. You have some, maybe you entered some wrong configuration and you have to correct them and then press enter. Now it is correct, so I will just press enter, and now you have configured the IP address successfully. It is configured correctly. One more thing, you will have to use this option, troubleshooting option, so that SSH may enable. Otherwise, you are not able to SSH your machine right through PuTTY. So just enter, right. Once you enter it will say okay, SSH shell is enabled. Now you can say, see here, enable SSH. Now SSH is disabled, you have to enable this one, press enter, it is enabled. Now you can directly log in into your PuTTY from the IP address. I will show you 192.168.43.50, right? That was your IP address. Just click, you can see it. We are able to log in into the PuTTY, right? So here you can see we are able to log in. Just type the login name, root, and the password, root @123. You can see we have login into the PuTTY. Now we will just increase the size. So just go and change setting, type appearance, make me big. So I just click 16, press OK. Now the size has increased, but you cannot enter any Linux command. If you want to see IP address, if you want from this ifconfig, this command is not available. If you want this from IP-a command, say this IP is not found. So guys, the ESXi has its own commands. So I will show you some command so that you can get the network related information. So write ESXi CLI network IP interface and list. You will get all the interface list. See, here you have VM K0 NIC, right? And this is the MAC address, status, and this is the virtual switch, vSwitch 0, and you can also check all other parameters, right? Root ID, port ID. Okay, so the second command you can use, if you want IP related information, just type this command, ESXi network IP interface, then IPv4 get. So you will see the output. So this is your name of the network and the IP address 192.168.43.50, and this is the net mask plus C, and this is the broadcast IP address, and this is your gateway. You can configure any IP address, right? Before this 255, like you can use 254 and accept this gateway. So starting from 192.168.43.2, you can go to 192.168.43.254 and see, this is the DHCP and DNS method, which is false because we have configured through static, right? And if you want to get the information of a route, right? So what you have to do, you just type ESXi CLI network IP route and then IPv4 list. Show the route of this, right? You can see this is the default subnet 192.168.43.0 which we have used, and your gateway will be 192.168.43.1, so which your traffic will go outside, and this is configured manually, so the source is manual, right? And there are a lot of commands to check route as well. You can use ESXi and hyphen route. Okay, now you can also see the gateway where your traffic routed towards the outside, and if you want more information you can use hyphen h command, right? Oh great, now you can see a lot of information, right? You can see if you want to add route you can add by this command. Okay, so you can see you have lot of option to play with it. If you want to configure IPv6, if you want to delete route, you can add route. You can, if you want to add IPv6 route, you can use this command. Okay, so I have shown you the example where you can use a lot of commands in ESXi cell. Right, one more command. If you want network NIC list, right? So you can use this command ESXi CLI network NIC list. You can use this command and you can get your NIC related information. Like if you want to check your driver, you can see your description VM NIC 0. This is PCI drives device. This is slot, whatever the slot you are using, you can get over here. And the driver which we are using Intel E1000, and you can see the status, it is up. Okay, link status up, and speed is 1000 Mbps. Duplex, you can see full. You can see the MAC address as well. So these are the information you can take from this command. So guys, you can also use this command on your ESXi host, and you can also install your virtual machine using this CLI mode. So guys, this is all about ESXi installation and configuration. In my next video, we will learn file management, in which we will create file and directory, which is going to be your building block of your Linux operating system. So guys, thanks for watching the video.